Hello, everyone. Are you okay, guys? This is an event of a celebration to the World Constitution Day, and we are going to talk about introductory notions about the Brazilian Constitution of 1988. Let's go together. First, legal concept of constitution. Let's talk a bit about legal concept of constitution. The Constitution is the basic rule of the entire legal system. The Constitution is the basic rule of the entire legal system. It is, therefore, the assumption of validity of all infra-constitutional laws. That is, for a law to be valid, it must be compatible with the Constitution. Let us now deal with the Brazilian Constitution of 1988. Our Brazilian Constitution is promulgated, that is, democratic, prepared by the representatives of the people, which differs from the one granted, such as the 1937 Charter imposed by the authorities. Our constitution is written. It's written because it's a solemn document. It's also formal. It's formal because, in addition to having constitutional matters such as the separation of powers and rights and fundamental material guarantees, it has other matters. As an example, the Article 242, which states the Pedro II School of Rio de Janeiro. What else? It's also analytical, since it is extensive, long-winded, repetitive constitution. It's also ruling. It's ruling since, in addition to providing for fundamental rights, it establishes state goals. It establishes state goals. That is a plan, a direction for the state to guide itself. As an example of goals, of plan, of direction, our Article 3rd of our Constitution, which states the objectives of the Brazilian Republic. Finally, it's also rigid. Our constitution is also rigid because it is the one whose amendment procedure is more rigorous than that destined for other laws. Okay, now let's talk about the structure of our Brazilian constitution. Our Brazilian constitution can be divided into three parts. Our Brazilian constitution can be reparted into three parts. First, preamble. Second, permanent party. Third, ADCT, in English, Transitional Constitutional Provisions Act. Let's talk about the preamble. The preamble is a short letter. The preamble is a short letter, a paragraph of the constituent's intentions, although present in all Brazilian constitutions. The preamble is not mandatory. Although present in all Brazilian constitutions, the preamble is not mandatory. It is a tradition in Brazil. The preamble is a tradition in Brazil, but it's not mandatory. Important. According to the Supreme Federal Brazilian Court, STF in Portuguese, the preamble is not a constitutional rule. The preamble is not a constitutional rule according to the Supreme Court Brazilian. Preamble is within the scope of politics. Preamble is connected to the idea of politics. It's worth highlighting then the three consequences. We're going to say three consequences of the fact that the preamble is not a constitutional rule. First consequence: The preamble is not a mandatory repetition rule in Brazilian state's constitution. The Brazilian state's constitution don't need to have preamble. The word God in preamble does not hurt the secondarity of Brazilian state. Third, the preamble cannot be used as a parameter in control of constitutionality. Finally, the preamble cannot be used as a parameter in the control of constitutionality. And last, the permanent part goes from Articles 1 to 250, and it has uh, fundamental rights, state structure, and followings. This part may be subject to a constitutional reform. It's not immutable. I want to thank you all for your attention, and I'm available to any doubts or questions. See you.